Thank you for joining us on the Ultimate Leadership Podcast. Now, here he is, your host, Chris Cebollero.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ultimate Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Chris Cebollero, and today I have a special guest, a very special guest, and she is my friend. And she has so much, she is a little ball of energy. That's what I'm going to call her nickname, is the little ball of energy. But today we are going to talk about her new book, The Energy of Money, How to Understand and Quantum Leap Your Relationship with Money Using Metaphysical Insights. And I got to tell you, just from the title, there are just so many super duper questions that are going to come from that, because I love money and I want to know how to quantum leap my relationship. But here she is, my friend, author, coach, speaker, Lynn Scheurell. Lynn, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
I got to tell you, man, I am excited to talk to you, as I am always. You always inspire me. You always motivate me. And congratulations on your new book.
Thank you. It's very exciting. It's really, it feels like a big achievement to get that put together, I will say.
You know, and when it comes to being an author, it is a labor of love, right? You try to get your thoughts down, and you want to be able to create something that you think is going to be, you know, educating and entertaining to your tribe. And I think you hit a home run. I did read it and I did enjoy it. But I think one of the questions I like to ask authors is, what was the catalyst for you writing this particular book?
Well, in this case, I actually taught a class on how to quantum leap your cash. And in doing that, I started discovering a lot of exercises, and I've done a lot of metaphysical training over the years. And I had all these snippets of things that were written, and I finally thought, well, let me just put them together so they're all in one place. And it turned into this compendium of exercises and practical things you can do to understand how you relate to money. It's a very kind of personal journey. It's what we were just talking about, right? It's not necessarily the destination, but the journey.
Exactly. That's what you got to take. So talk to me about this. I mean, so just the title, The Energy of Money, and then using metaphysical insights. I mean, what the heck does that mean, Lynn? Come on, what does that mean?
Well, energy really doesn't, money doesn't really have an energy. It has the energy that we assign to it, right? So I thought it was kind of a play on words. So the energy of money is really the money, the meaning that we give it. And to understand that, we have to understand how we relate to it. And to understand that, we have to get into our own metaphysical nature, to go below the surface, to really get to our own patterns and paradigms and beliefs and saboteurs and what we're doing. And so it just kind of all came together.
Now, what's interesting about this book is that you just don't give us practice. You just don't give us theory, but you give us exercises as well to kind of take us through the things that you're teaching. So, you know, kind of think about it from the standpoint of these chapters. If you think about the first couple chapters, money paradigms and neutralizing saboteurs, you know, money measures exchange, a set of limitations underscores your money, so on and so forth. Then you get into these exercises of money map, childhood beliefs. But take us through those first couple chapters, and then kind of how does that tie into those exercises? Because I found that very interesting.
Oh, well, it was really a way to start the discovery process. You have to start somewhere. And so to give people some context, to help people have a foothold in how to start understanding and relating to money, that's really the beginning of those first couple of chapters, just to set some context and explore what some paradigms might be. You know, some of the things that people, what happens is we judge our own success by how much money we have. So if we don't have money, that must mean we're not successful, or it must mean that someone else isn't successful. So, you know, it's a status symbol. It becomes so much more. And so to explore that in the first couple chapters really just sets the stage for being able to go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. It's kind of like doing a massage. You start out kind of light and then you work your way in. That was what happened there.
You know, when you think about it, I mean, from the standpoint of money, I mean, there is a lot of negatives about people. You know, I can remember growing up, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, and my mom would always say, you know, those rich people, they're just bad people. And, you know, and it really kind of gives you that on your subconscious mind. It kind of imprints that if you have money, you're not ethical and you're a bad person. And so really what this is doing now is this is almost setting a different foundation for you to make you think, you know what? Maybe accumulating wealth isn't bad. I mean, where did we get this? Where did we get this education on how to accumulate wealth? And I think you set the stage for us very, very early on to say, all the money in the world is printed. Go out and find yours.
That's really all it's about. You don't need a cash machine. You don't have to build a cash machine. You are your own cash machine. We live in an abundant universe. The universe wants us to be abundant. And people are going to say, oh, well, COVID and oh, disruption. And, we make our own economy. We make our own economy. How do we do it? We get out of our own way. We have to clear the barriers, obstacles, and blocks that we have that prevent us from accessing the money that is ours and is waiting for us. So, throughout history, people have had plagues and pestilence and, wars and whatever. It's the human condition. So some people still make it in all of those environments. And so what's the common denominator? Well, it's the relationship you have with money and clearing the path to claim your own. So this book is designed to help people understand what that means and start doing some of that work.
Right.
It's a very practical, get in there and ask yourself these questions book.
So when you start to think about it from the next series of chapters, the language of wealth patterns and money messages, what is the language of wealth patterns?
Well, people who don't have wealth have kind of repetitive patterns. I don't know how to get wealthy. I'll never be wealthy. Other people know more than me on how to get wealthy. Wealthy people are glamorous and I'm not. So there's these patterns. But wealthy people would say, well, I deserve to have money. I deserve to be wealthy. Or I know what it takes to be rich. Or I have confidence in my skills and my talents and my abilities. And I believe in myself and my awareness in making decisions around money. So there's definitely patterns between non-wealthy people and wealthy people. And then when you start looking at the behaviors, non-wealthy people live check to check. They pay themselves last. They rely on others' opinions to guide their decisions. Whereas wealthy people look for opportunities to create. They look for ways, even during difficult times, they look for ways to add greater value somewhere because that's what money does, right? It lets us know when we're adding value somewhere. So they look for that. They understand the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, some people might say, oh, I don't want to write a check to have that person help me. Somebody else is going to go, hey, I'd rather spend, $50 and have help and have, double my time, so you have to understand yourself and how you think about those things and how you relate. And so there's different patterns and behaviors based on whether you're a wealthy or non-wealthy thinker, person, behavior person. Yeah. So you just have to know. It just helps you to know who you are and where you fall in that camp, because then you can make informed decisions, right? It's not your mom going, oh, wealthy people are just jerks.
Right. And I think that you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's what it comes with that negative connotation, and we've got to change that. But one of the areas that I enjoyed, 8 money lies for which no one has answers. And let's go through a couple of these lies, Lynn. So lie number 1, money lie number 1. You know more than the universe. What the heck does that mean?
Well, who are you to block your own abundance, right? The universe has a grand plan. I mean, it's an abundant, positive universe. So the universe is there only to support you. And so a lot of times people think, oh, well, that didn't work, or I didn't make money there, or whatever. And they just go, oh, I must not be enough, or they get defeated. Well, really, the universe is trying to steer you towards your greatness. It's, rejection is protection in that way. It doesn't want you to waste energy on a path that really isn't yours, that isn't going to get you that abundant, wealthy result. And so when one door closes, 5 more open. So the universe is simply trying to guide you. And so for you to think, oh, well, that must mean blah, 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 versus instead of seeing, oh, wait, there's a bigger plan. I'm meant for something greater. That's the orientation, right?
No, I agree with you. And one of the things as we go to money line number 2, somebody said to me this year, where are you going for vacation? I said, I'm not going on vacation this year. My vacation is making money. My vacation is cashing checks. And line number 2, people always welcome having more money. Don't tell me that's a lie. Don't tell me that's a lie, Lynn, because I always welcome having more. And I'm attracted to cashing them checks as long as the checks keep clearing. So tell me that's not a lie, Lynn.
Well, but like most people, if you're sitting on a bench in a park, out in nature in the middle of nowhere, and someone walks up and drops, $50,000 in your lap, the first thing that person's going to say is, no, what are you doing? Like, it's the first response is to kind of reject it, right? Instead of going, woo, that's mine, or they find a big, stash of cash and it says, this is whoever finds this is yours. I mean, people go, what? like they'll question that, right? So
doesn't that go more to the you get nothing for free kind of thing? I mean, I mean, if eventually when you get there, I mean, people are like, yeah, okay, thank you. I mean, I'm taking this roll of money. But I mean, so sometimes you just don't get things for free, right? And money just doesn't fall in your lap, and money doesn't grow on trees. Now all of a sudden, somebody's giving you this wad of money, and you're like, who do I got to kill?
well, that's exactly it. And it's all those pre-existing paradigms and our conditioned responses. So, what if it's like, oh, finally, the payoff, instead of, you don't have to, it's like the positive charge of too much money. It's like, when instead it could be like, finally, everything that didn't work just won in lump sum right here, So it's just a shift in perspective, just seeing possibilities where maybe you don't have them based on past behaviors.
So we're not going to go through all the lies because we don't want to take away from the great reading that this book is. It's a great book, 225 pages in the electronic version, but I do want to cover a couple more. Lie number 6: people know how to value money, and I got to tell you, when I read this, I kind of nodded my head because I've been in a position now where I'm spending money, and I'm buying things that have greater value that. When I was 30 years old, I would have said, there's no way I'm spending that money on that. And so now when we think about it, people know how to value money. What's that all about?
Well, and like I got 5 things in my head. I mean, one thing that we do is we confuse value and price. People think if they pay more that they're getting greater value. I once hung out with a multimillionaire, and he'd come into his money fast. And he said, he was paging through this magazine. He's like, oh, a Rolex I could buy. Oh, a Mercedes. He was just, he goes, money is kind of meaningless when you make more than $75,000 a year. He's like, for him, that was all he needed. And so everything else was surplus. And so he goes, the more money you have, the more meaningless it is. And I'm like, I would love to have that experience. So really it's people, it goes back to the relationship we have with money, right? How do we value it? So it's a very, all these money lies, it's just helping you question what you believe and think and relate to about money. So, a lot of people think, oh, money, I got to manage it. I got to pay bills. It's like holding a stinky diaper. Nobody wants it, right? But, why would money come to you if you're going to treat it like a stinky diaper? Like, let it be your amazing partner in life, let it be that so that you can truly value it. And for me, I love paying bills. I really do. Like if I'm having a down day, I go and I pay a bill because I just feel good about that because I'm recirculating money. Things are happening.
Well, send me your address, Lynn. I'm going to send my bills your way. You can love paying my bill. You can love the heck out of paying my bills, Lynn. But
that's so generous.
Along with the lies, you also go through 7 mistakes that keep you from making money in business as a soul-driven entrepreneur. And when we think about that, certainly don't want to go through the 7 mistakes, but what was your thought as you now start to focus? Because again, this book just isn't about the theory. This book just isn't about it gives us practical tools to really put these practices in place. So why the mistakes? What do you hope people get out of that?
Well, entrepreneurs don't know what they don't know a lot of times. And so they don't know that when they're out of their power, that means that they're also going to be less attractive to money because they're not going to be generating as much value as they could. It also, there's something, and I don't know if I can't remember if I put it in this book or not. I think I did, but about the sacred exchange that happens in business. The sacred exchange is something much greater than the transaction that we see. It's actually you packaging your value in a way people can consume, and then the universe is bringing you abundance to that person paying you for that. So there's this a much larger picture to any business transaction. But with the 7 mistakes that entrepreneurs make, it just I've had people tell me they read just that section and they're like, oh my gosh, now I understand. Now I get why my business didn't take off the way I thought it would. So, and it's just, I try to make everything as concise, as consumable as possible, but some of them are like, they said they felt like I hit them in the face of the frying pan where they're just like, because it was, it's quick. It brings it all into perspective really clearly, really fast.
Right. And one of the things that you did is that when you read it, We know these things because we're experiencing these things, but we don't know what to call them. We don't know what this experience means. And what you're doing is you're outlining for us the experience and putting it into context to say, aha, oh, I know. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. Why did that make sense now? Why didn't I figure that out before? And I think that you really hit a home run. So what do you hope that people get out of this book, Lynn?
I would love for them to quantum leap their relationship with money, whatever that means to them. Sometimes when I even I just wrote this for myself, there was a significant transformation for me. Like people who have read it told me that within a week, they started bringing in, one woman was not sure what she wanted to do. She was going from one career into another that she wanted to do for 12 years. She had been, scared to do it. She read this book. Within the next week, she got 4 new clients in her new business. Like, boom, because she was actually able to receive money for who she is versus what she can do. So that was a big shift for her. So that's that's my only intention. For me, like, business is sacred. Like, it matters. Like, it changes the world. That's my church. And so this book is to help people who are looking to add value and be able to receive back what that means to support them to keep doing it. So that's what I want. I just want everybody to be happy and successful.
Well, you have a home run, and I think that the people who are out there, go ahead and check out this book, The Energy of Money, and I think it could be a bestseller. I think if people really find it and have the practices, I am wishing you the good luck on it. But Lynn, I do want to switch gears a little bit, because not only is this resource of value, but you yourself are value. You're a coach. You're a speaker. I follow you on the socials, and you entertain me every day. I mean, I don't know how the heck you post as much as you do. I know you got that Hootsuite, or I know you got that Sociocaster. Do you do that all? Do you load all that yourself? Well, you are the busiest woman on the internet then, because you've got to post 40 times a day with such great content. But if folks want to learn more about you, if folks want to follow you, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
To look for my name, Lynn Scheurell, LYNNSCHEURELL. That'll be my name on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. I have some on Instagram. So yeah, I mean, now I'm not super consistent about all my platforms all the time. I will say that. I'm currently writing another book all about digital transformation. Another thing that I do is I'm a B2B business transformation specialist. And so I'm writing a book on that. And, so I'm all over the place. I'm a ghostwriter for other people. Words are my friends. And so, it depends on where I'm at. But I love to share information and pass forward the light. So I'm just delighted to be in your world.
So just a quick little bone to pick with you, though. On your social sites, I do get entertained. And you did post this thing a couple weeks ago that said, okay, how many of these things have you not done? And give me the number. And I said 1, right? And, it goes through a whole bunch of things where it talks about horseback riding and zip lining and being arrested and, having a tattoo and right. And I said 1, and you said, okay, Chris, do tell. And I said, Lynn, guess. And you were like, ziplining. I said, no, I've never been arrested. You're like, well, I just figured you're from New York. I mean, what is that about? I'm like, really, Lynn? I don't know. I don't know that we could be friends anymore. But.
Oh, no. I thought that was an early in life childhood experience, and everybody in New York has that. I don't know.
That's a stereotype. That's a stereotype. But Lynn, I want to thank you for joining us. And I got to tell you, man, The Energy of Money, I enjoyed reading it. How to Understand and Quantum Leap Your Relationship with Money Using Metaphysical Insight by my friend Lynn Scheurell. I want to thank you for joining us on the Ultimate Leadership Podcast, Lynn.
Thank you.
Promise me you're going to come back. Everybody out there, I got to tell you, man, when it comes to this book, I think it really kind of gives you a great foundation. I mean, who's giving us this lesson about money? Who's giving this lesson about how to accumulate wealth? Who's giving this lesson to learn the value and how to respect money? And we're all after it, man. We're all out there trying to put our hands on our money. I mean, we said it, right? All the money in the world is already printed. You've got to go out and get your share. And go ahead and pick up this book. I want to thank my friend Lynn Scheurell for joining us on the Ultimate Leadership Podcast. And everybody out there, I want to thank you for joining us. And thank you very much for allowing me to join you on your professional development journey. Until next time, I look forward to chatting with you soon.
The Ultimate Leadership Podcast is a production of chrisceballero.com. You can interact with us by email at ultimateleadership16@gmail.com. All rights reserved.